Agri Travel Expo 2019. We are here in Bergamo and this is the exhibition dedicated to the slow travel, the responsible and rural tourism. We are here with Klaus Ehrlich and he's in charge, he's the General Secretary of EUROGITES. But tell us more about EUROGITES, what is and the reason why you are here.
EUROGITES is a federation of professional organizations at the moment, I think it's 28 countries, 32 members. It is a private structure. It is based on the so-called industry organization, professional associations of providers in the field of countryside tourism, rural tourism, activity, gastronomy in rural areas. It was founded in 1991 and has been starting with 6 or 7 members. Now, as I said, it's about 30-something members altogether.
And tell us the reason why you are here in this kind of exhibition.
We've been working with this fair for the past 5 years. They were contacting us, in fact, but the concept of the fair is very much in line of the type of product, type of service our rural entrepreneurs can provide, can offer to the customer. The Italian market, the Lombardy market is very similar to what we are offering as well. And the organizing of the fair was always very helpful in also facilitating the organization of parallel events, professional events, seminars, workshops. So it's an ideal combination of commercial presence, promotional presence and professional work.
What kind of seminars have you been organized here, and also what kind of tables we found yesterday, for example?
We started, I think the first time was 4 years ago, participating as speaker and as panelist in the events they organized. 2 years ago we had the bigger European conference, Sustainable Tourism for Rural Development, within the worldwide year of Sustainable Tourism for Development, so we added this rural, based in the idea that the tourism sector as a whole, not only rural tourism, but also, let's say, more industrial tourism and rural territories, not only farming, so both sides we are opening up the scope from the traditional understanding by working together, by finding synergies, can mutually benefit. So this was the idea 2 years ago. We repeated this event this year, now with a more technical or political concept, because we are in the phase where the future European policies regarding rural development, regarding regional development, regarding training are changing ahead of the next multi-financial framework in a more normal, saying, planning period of 7 years, 21-27. So we need to organize, we need to structure, we need to find the core points now when these regulations are in preparation, and this was the objective of this meeting yesterday.
Yeah, and so what are, in your opinion, the biggest challenges and the biggest also obstacles for professionals working in rural and slow tourism?
There are a lot of potentials, but the main problem is that it's a lot of small entrepreneurs, small actors on the ground, which lack usually an understanding that they need to work together. Frequently, when I'm a small entrepreneur in a small village, somebody who does something similar beside me, I see him as a competitor. And I don't understand that for the visitor from 200, 300, 400 kilometers away, the more of us small are in this area, the more attractive the area becomes. And we gain more than we lose when we work together. This is absolutely critical, because the consumer and also the travel trade, if we think about markets from outside Europe, which are increasingly coming in cities, they are already full of Chinese, Japanese, Indian market is coming very strongly. If we want these clientele, which of course will not come hundreds of thousands of them in rural areas, but their markets are developing very fast. They have a growing niche market that wants to see nature. It's enough to travel to a Chinese industrial area, travel to Delhi to understand that something that for us in Europe is almost normal, green landscape, blue sky like we have in Bergamo today, fresh air, for these people is a luxury. So if we just offer this thing, plus nature, plus some spectacular scenery, there's a market, but we need to work together to be able to satisfy what they want.
Yeah, and Klaus, let me say, if you had, in Italian it's called the bacchetta magica, the magic, how you call it in English?
Varita magica in Spanish. Magic stick in English.
Okay, if you had the magic stick, so what would you ask to the government or to the European Parliament? So and they would say to you yes. So what is your design? What are your solutions? What would you like to propose?
Less regulation, less administration, more facilitating the working together through service like a very good job is doing European Travel Commission, promoting Europe as a whole outside Europe. The same would apply to the national tourism promotion boards. Each area does its same, each area does its own legislation. This is confusing for the entrepreneur, it's confusing for the visitor. It doesn't add any value except the ego of the region that I did something different. But we need to think in a wider scope. We need to think on a common level of understanding, common rules, things that are easy to understand, and don't make the small entrepreneur lose time in fighting with regulations that are not made for him. They may make sense for a 50, 100 bedroom hotel, but it doesn't make sense to regulate a small rural house that is rented, a farmer that offers 2 or 3 rooms, a person that offers a couple of rooms in Airbnb, to put them through the same administrative framework as a big hotel. It doesn't make sense. These are the offers that are very flexible, they are quick to adapt to the visitor's needs. They can do it because they are small. They are the most dynamic ones, and we need to help them. We need to allow them to concentrate on their core business, which is attending the visitor and not losing time in paperwork.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And from the government, we talk about flexibility, and all these beautiful words, so personalized stuff for our guests, our tourists. But then when it comes to apply with the law, and they don't targetize better, so they should do a job about marketing, targeting their kind of guests, their kind of clients. So,
my feeling is that, or experience after a couple of years in this business, especially with the administration, they take away one regulation and they create two new ones. But they said, okay, we simplified the thing. No, they simplified one way and they complicated the other. In the end, it's worse.
But we have different opinion about how it does it mean to clarify, to simplify the process.
The customer is the student. There is a long-going discussion. I think this is more or less coming down now to a reasonable point of view about the disruptive role of Airbnb in the room sharing and HomeAway and these platforms for holiday rentals. Of course, they need to contribute. They need to have some rules. But there was quite a discussion from the hotel industry. We had this in rural tourism years ago. Exactly the same problem, exactly the same discussion. No, but if there's no rules, there's no quality, bad image. Well, the mere fact that these platforms are on the market and they are more and more successful, they cannot be so bad if millions of people use them. That's a simple thing. Market is solving this. And if you're bad because they're based on clients' evaluation, you're out. So the market, the way of how customers choose, how they behave, how they react, and how they put services on the market, how they let them be on the market, or how they take them out by their valuation, by how they react, is just new, and we need to adapt to this.
Yeah, well, we need the challenge is to make the further steps, so the evolution, we cannot stop the evolution, the transformation, or our culture, our society, and the technology, and so every actor needs to adapt. So the government, the professionals, clients, local farmers, everybody. Okay.
And they need to work together again. This is absolutely essential.
Partnership.
Partnership. Funny enough, hotel chains are already starting to say, well, how can we diversify into the holiday rental? Look, funny, strange enough, they see the market is there. But especially back to rural areas, because this is a quite political problem we're just raising now. Back to rural territories, or to any small territories. This applies for a small village or a small city, 10, 15,000 inhabitants. You need to bring people together. And it's not only the entrepreneurs, it's also the population. We have the term in some country, some places, over tourism. There's too many tourists. And I feel I can understand if I live in a peaceful countryside village of 100 inhabitants and suddenly a bus with 50 visitors. Let them be from wheresoever. They can be from China or from Mars or from the city beside. But 50 people come and walk around and see me like an animal in the zoo. I'm not happy. So we need to work, or at least I need to know they're coming, so I'm prepared for this. Because maybe I'm doing something I wouldn't do normally, and I would take a bit more care or clean up or.
It's something new, and people, maybe not everybody is going to deal with something new.
Communities need to be part of the whole story. They are not the scenery that is set there, they are part of the whole experience. Also, what the visitor wants, he wants this interaction, he wants to see a real life, a bit sometimes made nice, definitely. Real life is maybe sometimes not. They don't want to see the problems. If you go on holiday, if you go on a visit, you're interested in how people live. They may be interested in some of the problems, but not let them tell how bad it is and how far we are away now. This may be their situation, but don't tell these kind of things. We need to find a mixture where there's a benefit for both sides.
Yeah. So Klaus, according with what you just said, so let's tell to professionals in tourism industry why it's so important that we are going to develop the rural tourism.
Well, rural tourism is a word that I personally prefer in a technical way to speak about recreation and leisure in rural territories, which means it can be a day visit, it can be a longer stay, it can be a medium-sized hotel, not these big water or center parks. These are out because they have no connection with the local economy, with the local society, with the local tradition. But we need to speak about tourism in a wider sense, which is precisely what is the upcoming market. We need to think about that the future big number of visitors is no longer the young or millennials are of course traveling a lot, or the 30, 40 years, but the big number of people are the baby boomers. That's my age group, born between 55, 67. These 12, 15 years after the war, where a lot of children were born, we are now a huge number of people, and we are traveling. We are a lot better off health-wise than our parents were at this age. So we can do almost everything we could do 20 years ago, but we have seen a lot. So we don't want these mass spectacular attractions anymore. We've seen that. Now we go for something more authentic, more personal, less massified, and this is precisely where the territory comes into place, because you come to a village, you may be one of 50 guests or 50 visitors in this village, but there's 200 people having a normal life, or 1,000, and you share this, and you have a real expression and experience of what is happening. Research we saw yesterday, and then I did something in our organization as well 3 years ago about this age group, let's say 50 plus, which is a coming big part. It's like this. So we are here. They don't look for something spectacular. They look for something real. They want to interact. They want to participate. They want to not to eat the meal, but also know how it's done. They want to look into the kitchen. How is this doing? They are active, not hyperactive. They will not go up and down the mountain in 3 hours anymore. But they will walk 2, 3, 4 hours hiking tour, no problem. So we need to prepare for this, and rural areas have a lot of potential. You have flat areas, you have hilly areas, you have mountainous areas. In mountainous areas, you have a lot of greenways now, old, unused railway tracks that are conditioned as a tourism route. You can do cycling, you can do walking. There's a lot of opportunities. Participate, kitchen, cooking courses, cultural events, a lot of things. And I repeat, not necessarily spectacular. Just to give you an example, in the area I live in, the south of Spain, it was Arabian Moorish Muslim for 700 years, and then it was reconquered by the Christians. So we had this Moorish settlement, and of course we had the mosque. Like Cordoba, the famous Mezquita is the old mosque with the church in it. And you have this in many small villages, where the former mosque, they closed the mirab, and all the rest remains as it was. And then now they found the mirab, and you can visit this small church in a small village of 300 inhabitants, which has no cultural value from the point of view of sculptures or paintings, but you can live this history by seeing how one thing transformed into the other. And these small things are very easy. Usually they are just management. You don't even need to invest money. Maybe one working time to open up a paint or make a small text that explains it, and it's done. So there's a lot of chances for creating these small attractions in rural areas with the local resources, with understanding, with knowledge, and with little money.
Yeah. So everything you said right now, and it's quite interesting because we were talking about some targets. So the baby boomers, 50 plus,
yes.
but also the millennial target, let me say. So we have quite lots of things in common, because also travelers like me, for example, we are looking for the same thing. So there is an intercultural way of doing the same thing, same experience, maybe in a different way. So it changes maybe the speed of the experience. It could change, and also we can relate also this story to families, because if we have couples of baby boomers, so maybe, let me say, grandmother, grandfather, they would like to travel also with their family, with their nephews. So we have all different kind of targets, and also the gastronomy also for this. It's interesting.
It is more a question of lifestyle, and this is something that also comes out from experience and from research. Usually experience is more helpful. Research, people tend still to answer in a way that they think they are expected to reply, and then they behave different. So I prefer looking at reality, what is happening. And what is happening is this, that the lifestyle or the way of tourism as a whole is changing. Of course the mass destinations still work, and if you want a 2-week or 10-day just not doing nothing holiday, you go to all-inclusive resort somewhere in the Caribbean, and that's it. But then people take another holiday, that's 10 days, but they have a month. So then they go for a weekend, then they go for something, and then they do these small things, and they do it in all ages. That's true, they do it in all ages. What happens? That the baby boomers have done all that already. They have been to all these resorts worldwide, and they come back to what they really like to do, while the younger generation still does both things. So, but they do very similar things, more active, less active, more involved, less involved. But the traveler is experienced, and I repeat, don't forget the huge upcoming markets, basically in Asia. This is absolutely, if you look at the figures, you say, we have 14 million Chinese traveling. Okay, 14 million Chinese is out of these 10 million are to Hong Kong and Macau, so take them out. 4 million traveling outside. From these 4 million, you just get a 0.1% into rural areas, and you have hundreds of them. Because the pure quantity of the market says, even if you get a very small piece of this, there is a client here, and this will grow.
Yeah, and they are willing to pay to do this kind of experiences.
Yes, for them it's as interesting or as new as for us going to some nomad people in Kyrgyzstan or in the Central Asia area, which is just a completely different experience. And people go, and Chinese, Indians, they have the resources. Increasing middle class.
Yeah, and this is a way for our professionals and our regions also, and our countries, to develop the season of tourism. So not only 3, 4, 6 months, but the 12 months.
This was another concept that was started a couple of years ago. I think it's a pity it wasn't further developed, to look at European level on the markets on the southern part of the globe. Because when they have summer, we have winter. So they have the summer holidays, and they travel. Then of course we need to think about what is attractive in winter in Europe. We don't travel in winter because it's cold and bad weather. But there are many things that are attractive in winter here, not for hundreds of thousands, but yes, for a relevant number of people traveling. And so look, and the important thing there is we always think, but but this happens to every human being in whatever he does. We see the world from our point of view. And when we work in tourism and we want to do something with our destination, with our place, with our service, with our country, we need to find out not what we think is nice, but what the visitor is attracted to. We've seen this beautiful mountain and landscape every day. That's nothing special. It's boring for us. And somebody from outside comes in, oh, what fantastic thing is this? So this awareness and this willing to say not, I may think I know my area, but I don't know what is attractive in my area, and to ask and to find out and to research and to make people that come along ask them, why are you here? What did you like here? A more continuous research and finding out the motivations would be very helpful, because we can get quite a lot of surprises. I think about the examples, you have them in Italy, in Tuscany, you have them in Spain, in many parts, in south of France. Villages were abandoned, people from Germany, from England, from France, from elsewhere bought a property, and they make a business now out of renting these places to their own country people. Italians don't go, because they come from the market, they know why this place is so nice and so interesting for them people, from their culture, and they are able to offer a product that is working for the clientele they are selling to. And we need to do this at a level of destination, try to find out, and if we have frequently these people that came in from outside, even the person that moves from Rome or from Milano to a village somewhere in the Italian countryside, because he likes it, he sees these things that locals don't see. So work with these people, because they have a strong motivation. While many people locally maybe would like to go away if they just could, they are coming voluntarily, they want to be there, and they will want to help this area, want to assist that this works, so work with them.
So thank you very much, Klaus. We can summarize a little bit. So we've been talking about how we can help the professionals, how we like to ask the government about how we can help together all the system. So clarify and simplify everything, please. So let us know how you can also be flexible according to the different target. I mean, different professionals, they can apply to all the forms and all the regulation system. And we have been talking about the targets, so the baby boomers, the millennials, and the interconnection of this kind of target, and also what are the benefits for the territory, for the business, for everybody involved here. And the partnerships is one of the secret, one of the ingredients to make everything working very well, and to give value and to give also to make business. You can say this.
If there's one thing in the end I would like to add, because it seems obvious now, but you go down to the reality and it's still very much underused. Whatever you start planning doing, go digital, go fully digital from the very beginning. You will have some papers on the desk, but all the communication, the information structure, the way how you interact with how you promote yourself, how you interact with your fans, with your followers, with your potential target market, plan it in a digital way. Tools for translation are very simple, they are very good now. I'm not speaking about Google, there are others which are also free and give excellent results, and many things that are coming up that will help you in the future to document a place. I'm thinking about augmented reality, artificial intelligence. All these things are coming, and they, like happened with internet, in fact, they put everybody on a very similar level playing field. 30 years ago, you had a small special offer in a remote village somewhere. There was no way that you could communicate with your potential customer. Now you know your customer, you put the keywords that are found in search engines, and they find you. And this is a huge opportunity for the smallest service. Just you need to think very much what you want, how do you want to communicate it, and know how to use the digital tools that are available. Many of them very cheap or even free.
Thank you very much, Klaus, for this great interview. We're giving lots of value to our professionals in tourism industry. I'm gonna keep following, as you know, and see you next time. And let's see how we can work together to give this information. And at Media Hotel Radio is everything with a commercial hospitality section. Sorry. And see you next time, and stay on air on Media Hotel Radio.
Thank you, Concetta, for the interview, and all best luck. And I hope you spend your holidays in one of our places soon.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ciao.